What's going on, y'all? My name is Tommy. Welcome to the channel. It's been a little while. Believe me, I feel like I speak for a very large portion of the Paizoverse when I say a lot of us have kind of been thinking about our feelings, re the controversy that went on at Paizo. If you don't know, go Google it. You can find it. TLDR. I've had a chance to process my feelings, and I think although we still call for Paizo accountability and we want all of the bad things to be addressed, at the end of the day, there's a lot of really cool, really inclusive, really forward-thinking stuff going on, written by a bunch of really cool people under the Pathfinder banner. And so I think the best thing I can do right now is use my voice to amplify the things that I think are cool. Today, the schools of magic, all 8 of them, right? I cast Greatsword more than I do magic. We all know this. Abjuration, Conjuration, Divination, Evocation, Transmutation, Necromancy, and 2 more. Enchantment and Illusion, right. And remember, if you're liking what you're seeing, to like, subscribe, ding the bell. Stay caught up on all your stuff really quickly. Gonna get in the habit of saying this. If you work at Paizo and you worked on any of the books that I've covered on this channel in the myriad of years I've done the thing, if you've written the stuff that, like I said, is forward-thinking, inclusive, and damn cool, here's looking at you. Thank you so much for all the hard work you put in. If I ever forget to say that, somebody hunt me down and yell at me. But for now, let's dive in. Okie doke. So by and large, all of the magic in Pathfinder can be cut into 8 different schools. All of the spells that one casts can be categorized into. Again, this is a evolving school of thought in universe. Do I think they're going to throw a 9th school of magic at us? Who knows? But we never saw the occult casters coming in 1E either, so like, who's to say? But to dive into these 8 schools of magic, how they are organized, what they do, what they don't do. First up, Abjuration. Abjuration is the use of either proactively or reactively magic for defense. We're talking the banishment of outsiders. We're talking the physical shield of force that comes up in front of you. We're talking the psychological barriers of force that protect us from mental attacks. We're talking the ability to dispel magic. All of these things fall under that umbrella. Within the universe, those who practice abjuration must have a relative understanding of all of the schools of magic because they're trying to tear all of the schools of magic down. Something like dispel magic would be way less useful if it was just dispel arcane magic, because that was what you understood as a wizard, right? Same's true if resist energy only helped you resist, like, acid damage but wouldn't stop fire. It doesn't really do a lot offensively, though you can make the argument a proactive dispel magic is a very, very powerful offensive thing, since it does not literally do damage or things of that nature. But indeed, sometimes the reactive thing is the most powerful thing one can throw out. It's important to remember. Indeed, sometimes dispelling the thing that's preventing your barbarian from going forth and breaking the wizard in half is much more efficient than having the barbarian beat down whatever it is that they can't get through. This, as well as several other schools, cycles back to that Treant Monk guide. If you, the wizard, dispelled the thing that was preventing the barbarian from defeating the boss, did the barbarian kill the boss, or did you? The next school on the list, Conjuration, is the art of creating something from nothing. Mastery of space and matter, whatever you can think, so it becomes real. Conjurers gather raw material essence, the literal matter of the universe, and confine it in a concrete physical form, which is then dispelled when the spell ends. To summon a creature, kind of the hallmark of the conjurer, you create a simulacrum of a creature from matter, willpower, and occasionally raw spiritual quintessence. Roll that up, make an aspect for the creature to exist in until the spell ends, at which point away it goes. These are also the casters that are bending space with the snap of their fingers, allowing objects, creatures to move vast distances in seconds. Everything from Dimension Door to Dimensional Assault to teleportation and back again. Secrets of Magic definitively points out that when one summons a thing, one creates a facsimile of that thing, not actually a real, like, wolf or devil, which then frames the question, are these inventions actually real, or are they only real for the time in which they existed? It really makes you wonder if the conjured creature is asked to do something that would just get the conjured creature killed. Is it an evil action, or is it a pragmatic one? is that Eidolon that you've been talking to and who is giving you power upon power. Are they real or are they all in your head? I believe the answer to that lies in the flavor text. Next, divination. The art of seeing things ahead of time, to be forewarned, to be forearmed. Probably my favorite of all the 8 schools of magic for its uses. You all have seen me just fanboy over rerolls all the time. Divination is the use of magic to learn things, predict things, read the bones, cast the die, see things from vast distances, project your senses out from your body. No secret is safe from a very powerful diviner, which is kind of why I like them so much. If you can be 20 steps ahead of a given problem, that is the definition of hedging one's bets. From a GM's point of view, I think every good BBEG worth their salt needs a diviner at their side, so you know what the party is doing, how the party is doing it, how to hedge your bets against the party if you're just going to sit around and do nothing and not be proactive and go introduce yourself, but that's a different argument. Divination in universe is also like the easiest one can use to make money with. The quote from the book: "Rare is the apprentice evoker who can eke out a living with wind gusts and snowballs, but nearly every town has one minor wizard who earns their keep by finding lost heirlooms, advising the lovelorn, soothing anxious parents' fears. Predicting the weather, Wheel of Time comes to mind here real hard, as well as the ability to, pick up an ancient sword and know its history in the snap of your fingers." Next up, enchantment is the art of making someone feel things. The power to make friends effortlessly, to always be the center of attention and literal adoration. The power to visit the most horrible things upon the minds of your enemies, to win the undying and eternal love of one person or the entire population of a given planet. Enchantment, indeed, is magic that manipulates the emotions. As one might imagine, it is a very, very slippery slope to horrible, terrible, bad things. On the benign end of the spectrum, an enchanter might just lift a terrified animal's fears, or imbuing a stranger with feelings of familiarity. On the other side of that, snap your fingers and someone is loyal to you into death. Or the literal power words. Shout a word, someone drops dead, is blinded forever, is stunned. All falls into the enchantment school. As one might imagine, this makes the school a very, very alluring one, because from the adoration of one or many, from everyone liking you, all the other dominoes can fall into place. Just like A, probably don't dominate people, and B, don't forget to actually seek out real emotional connections before you get very used to the fake emotional connections. And it's a slippery slope to, oops, now you're the horrible person. Evocation might be the most simple of them. The most just offensive, destructive, snap my fingers, set you on fire kind of school of magic. It is the use of magic for raw energy, raw matter to blast, to batter. It is the most closely associated with the 4 elements, and historically speaking on Golarion, evocation is where the fundamentals of magic are rooted, because these 4 elements were so crucial to early humanoid survival. We need fire, right? The person who can snap their fingers and make fire, snap their fingers, make clean water, so on and so forth. These are the people that help early humanoids not die of exposure. And then doing that without having to, rub 2 sticks together. You have this thing that everyone sees, and we ask, what if? And we go farther in, and from here, the other schools of magic are discovered, and it's a whole slippery slope. Indeed, though, evocation can be a bit of a blunt instrument. The sorcerer who has specialized only in spells to destroy may find, when a more subtler approach is needed, that sorcerer might not have the ability to do as much, at least with their magic. Fortunately, you have that charisma score and can probably talk your way out of it. But when force is the solution you need, evocation generally tends to excel. Illusion is the manipulation of reality. An illusionist uses magic to manipulate the senses, deceive perception, or sometimes weaken the fabric of reality to make something real enough to literally kill someone. There's something in there about shadow conjuration, make a bridge. Is it real enough for you to cross the chasm? Or at the last second, do you fall through because you step into the wispy part? We're not worried about that right now. Illusion makes one ask the question, what is reality? What is objectively real if I can make you believe that something is something that it actually isn't, in your mind's eye, it is the thing that it's not. Therefore, to you, objectively, it's real. So then, is it the person who is deceived by the illusion seeing what is actually reality and everyone else seeing something that isn't there? And the big paradoxical debate falls farther down from there. Though certainly there are plenty of illusionists who don't bother asking that question and only need you to believe the illusion for so long until whatever it is they're trying to achieve comes to pass. You only need to believe my fighter is over here till my fighter goes over there and kills you, essentially. Though, of course, because someone's mind is generally what fills in the magical gaps for emotion. Remember when I said, when we were talking about the essences of magic, how the, shared consciousness of the world forms mind? Yeah, this is where that comes in. And therefore, against an opponent without a mind, illusion can do considerably less. With no one to fill the gaps, the magic fails, and suddenly you're mauled to death by zombies, which is as good of a segue as I can think for the next one, necromancy. The magic of death, the magic of dying, the magic of decay, the magic of life, the magic of the soul, the magic of birth. All of this is contained in the one school. Of course, the study of death is not inherently a bad thing. There are plenty of people IRL who literally study death, but aren't horrible, terrible people. But as the memes on the interwebs can tell us, calling oneself a necromancer can oftentimes get one put into bad reputation town. Which is probably why the average cleric of Sarenrae, most of their spell slots are being spent on healing, doesn't go around calling themselves a necromancer, but indeed, necromancy that is. Necromancy can be divided into three, not really sub-schools, but trains of thought, we'll say. Vitalism, which manipulates life and death, which heals someone, harms someone, so on and so forth. Soul magic brings back the souls of the dead and inflicts curses on victims, tying that literally into your soul. And undeath, which is the objectively bad one, because you are preventing the cycle of life and death. That soul cannot move on. That person who you've killed and reanimated as a zombie is kind of just a mindless writer, a slave in their own body, unconscious or otherwise, going about doing your bidding or being a mindless, hungry husk. Then lastly, transmutation. Kind of like illusion and conjuration if they had a baby, this is the art of taking something that exists and making it something else that also objectively exists. If you would like to be twice or half your size, if you would like to be able to bench press 50 more pounds in 6 seconds, if you would like to be smarter, if you would like to be faster, if you would like your opponents to be slower, that is all rolled up within the transmutation school. However, nothing new is created. Transmutation is an incredibly versatile school. There's a lot of things one can do with it. Therefore, by and large, it's one of the most useful of those schools. Need to turn someone who's horrible into a frog or into stone? Need to turn yourself into a stone elemental or a particularly large frog? Everything in between wraps up in here. In a sense, transmutation is also the cause of a lot of powerful, say, like sorcerer bloodlines. A powerful spellcaster can alter their body such that their body becomes more compatible with other forms, and if that powerful spellcaster happens to be a dragon, then it's a tale as old as time and like every dragon disciple that was ever made. But in a literal sense, every child of this transmuter carries on a legacy of that bloodline, one of the most real and permanent, at least until the child's death, effects of the school. Aside from like taking a wall made of stone and turning it into a wall made of mud, or causing the stone to open up or close, or so on and so forth. Of all the schools, it is a school that can most definitively make a lasting mark on the world, though a lot of the like snap your fingers make you twice the size only lasts for so long, so make sure you crush people with your now much larger biceps while the spell lasts. But that is how magic is organized on Golarion present day, and that is where we're going to call this one. What do y'all think? Of all the 8 schools of magic, which is the most useful? Which is the least? Let me know down in the comments. Next week, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to go look at some other ways to categorize magic and the unique class archetypes therein. But till then, my friends, we'll see you next time.